Would you rather go and get an Ederson, yeah, or go and get like a Zubimendi?
Ederson for me.
There's a guy called Palacios that I want, me personally.
Yeah.
I want Palacios.
Like, you can go and get a six that can. Is a box-to-box kind of player, and he's got energy like that Ederson.
No, because for me, I'd rather get Ederson. Because see, Ederson for me, he's the closest you're getting to them Kante type of players. Because people try to belittle Kante and what he was actually good at going forward and how he was able to actually carry the ball.
Kante?
No, but a lot of people don't like people. Kante was just someone that broke up play. Like great as a six.
Now his offensive game is not talked about enough.
He's not talked
His
about.
ball carrying was insane. He will take you 50 yards up the pitch alone.
This is what I'm saying. And Ederson does that. But Ederson is that. Ederson is a ball carrier that comes from deep.
And I thought, Musa, you hold your horses, pal. Hold your horses.
Okay.
Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. Ederson is good for Atlanta's system.
I don't believe that. I believe the way he plays the game.
Can we just talk about it? Okay, can we just talk about one thing, right?
Everyone's good for this. What are you talking about?
Can we just say this? No. Can we please just admit something, right? There are certain footballers, right, that are compatible with certain coaches and certain styles of play.
But that's not his game, though, Noradine. That's not his game.
Let me finish. No, let me finish, right? And then you can come back, right? And we have to be super careful about that. That there's certain players, good system, good coaches that understand them to get the best out of them. And the system gets the best out of them. But are they actually players? Like,
Ederson, that's not his game, Noradine.
For me, that league, I repeat, that league's a fraud watch.
I agree with you. I agree with you with the league.
Especially midfield players. I don't rate that.
But you also have to look at players' games. What's his game? His game is power, pace, and precision. That's Ederson's game.
No, his game from the research that, because I did a bit of research. His best quality is his distribution.
He's power and pace.
Bro, I can't lie. No, you're waffling. I can't lie.
No, I'm not waffling, Saeed. Let me just explain. Saeed,
you are waffling, man. I have to come in here, man.
What's his best attribute?
For me, he's a very good ball carrier. He's
very good.
He's actually technically very good. You know, people look at
our pace and precision.
Yeah, you know what? He can play the ball in between line, give and go.
That's what I was about to finish. And you said,
he's good at that.
I was just about to say, before Musa interrupted me, that his best thing is actually passing. That's his best attribute. His thing, that the ratio he's got from.
But it doesn't mean he's not good at the other thing.
Let me finish, please, Musa. Don't interrupt me. Just let me finish. Let me finish the sentence.
Land it.
The best attribute is that actually he's from the defensive, from the bottom, from the first stage of play to the last stage. His distribution to that is actually one of the best in Europe. But I'm saying, like I was saying about Onana, that's because that league.
Here we go.
Let me finish. You could come back at me. I want to say, in that league, teams set traps differently. They set traps for you totally differently to the way Premier League teams do. So what I'm saying to you is that for Atlanta, in that system, the best that the manager gets out of him is that his passing and distribution is A1, right? And his stats are up there with the best in Europe. But the idea that he's some sort of like ultimate up and down physical kind of guy in that league.
Do you rate Reinders, Norden? Do you rate Reinders?
Yeah. Reinders is way better than him, Saeed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Like,
way better than him. Reinders is way better than him.
I know, but I've seen
Reinders do it for Holland. I've seen Reinders do it for Holland. Pick up the ball and carry the ball.
He plays Serie A.
Saeed, him and Barella are the only two midfielders that I think are superb.
No, there's a lot more. There's a lot more, man.
I've told you this before.
Man. I think
him and Barella and Reinders are the only two guys that are, for me, elite. Because the data is in with them. I've got long data with those two, where they've been, how they play, and the level of consistency. The Ederson, for me, he still lacks certain. Honestly, I've watched him in the Champions League. I've seen him get bullied. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen him get bullied. So
every midfielder's been bullied. Every midfielder can get bullied.
But Musa, not in that way. I beg you, go and watch him and read about what he's good at specifically. His distribution is amazing, right?
But what you're doing though is that saying that he's good at one thing, so you're taking away his other attributes. You can't take away from his other attributes. You see him like he plays similar to the other Brazilian that Newcastle's got in terms of when he breaks through that midfield. Yes, he breaks through with purpose. So I just feel like he's purposeful and he has intent in how he plays the game. You can't like he's one of those players where you can't take it out of him to the point where sometimes we might be like, this is not the game for that. We need you to slow down. And this is when I say if there might be a game where you want someone like Ugarte in because you feel like he doesn't know how to play any other way. I feel like Ederson actually he's 100%. He's all or nothing. Yes. And I feel like there are games where you might not want that though, because he could be set to get a red card or a yellow, and you're like, you don't need that. So for me, I think we need it.
Oh, but we also need someone that's technical alongside.
He's got the technical ability.
Yeah, he's got the more technical. He can give you the athleticism and the physicality and the box to box. You need someone alongside him. The problem is with knowing what you're trying to say. I hear you about in that league, whatever, it might not be as expansive as the Premier League. But ultimately, there are ballers out there. There's Lobotkas. Do you know what I mean? There's Coop Myers who was quality at that thing. He hasn't done it.
Pirlo played out there for as long as he played.
You were talking about Pirlo's one of the best in history.
No, but we're just saying the whole league can't be on fraud watch. There are players there.
I actually think when Pirlo played in that league was more quicker, was more faster because the Italian teams were competing more in the Champions League around those times because they had the bigger players, better players. I'm not lying to you. Serie A for me is on fraud watch. It is on fraud watch.
Crazy how it's on fraud watch.
It's on fraud watch. I tell you, the closest to the Premier League in terms of the physicality and the tempo and everything, it's the French league. And if you look at the history of the French league, players coming from the French league thriving in the Premier League is way more than the German league, the Spanish league, and the Italian league. For me. No, what I'm saying if you compare the German league, the Spanish league, and the Italian league, the French league is the most compatible because the football is similar to the Premier League in terms of the physicality. I'm just letting you know that is a fact. You want to argue against? You can argue with it. Are there players who are such superlatives, who are they're like the rule? That's the rule that I have in my head. But they just break that rule, like the Barellas, like the Riders. Those guys that exist, there are ballers in Serie A. But in terms of midfield, I just don't, honestly. The level of physicality is so different to the Premier League. It's way different. The time that you have on the ball is way different because the Italian league has become tactical in a different way to the Premier League, where they set traps in certain way. They invite teams onto themselves and they counterattack in a different way. There are only few teams that are press hard, are hard pressing, where the game's like that. Not all teams are like that in Serie A. And league is defensively a lot more better structurally the way they defend. Premier League, you have to have a certain level of technical ability. You have to match that with your physical ability as well.
Yeah. Listen, I think for me, ultimately, the main idea is that we need to build a midfield next year that everyone can get alongside with. There ain't no situation where man want this, man want that. The problem with the United fan base is we're never going to agree with any sort of midfielder. I can say we want my man that was at Fulham, and everyone say, oh, but he plays at Fulham. He plays at Sheffield United. Why would you want to?
I'm not asked about that side. I'm not asked about that.
No, I'm just saying.
It's about the player profile. It's about the player profile.
Yeah, exactly. My thing is right. What do Man United fans want? Do they want a name? Do they want a profile? Do they want a guy who actually knows how to play football? Do they want a guy that just because he's played in a good league? There's some I can go and get Ryan Cherky here, but Ryan Cherky it's not really you don't really press and whatever, but he's a baller. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but he's a different type of midfield. He's a more.
I'm just letting you know, I don't know what United fans want. I genuinely don't know. I can say, I can watch this league here, I can watch that league there, but it's
sorry, we're not qualified. We need to stop picking players and let the manager do his job. Whoever comes through the door and the manager's agreed on, you better get the best out of him and climb the table. If you don't, we want you out the door. That's the end of it.
We've been linked with Trincao. You know Trincao?
Yeah.
From Sporting. You know what I mean? Like the
He's not a
manager,
bad player, but just get the job done.
Yeah,
if you can get the best out of him, say, if he wants him, if Amorim wants him and he can get the best out of him,
that's it.
So be it. Can Manchester United get the best out of any of these players? And I genuinely do think that we do not talk about enough is the fact that at this football club, whether it's coaches or whether it's players, it's toxic. There's something about this football club that's severely toxic that talents like Paul Pogba don't get to fulfill their talents that die.
Real talk,
do you understand? Like the Martial talent doesn't.
Di Maria does 6 months and legs it.
Yeah, they don't. So, like, Sanchez came there when he was on fire for Arsenal and was like, after 3 days in the training ground, I wanted to leave. Like, there's something about how rotten this football club is.
No, you know what? You're right.
That's the thing that people have to understand.
Look at Xerxes. Look at Xerxes, man. Xerxes is the biggest example. You know what I mean? United fans saying he's not it, booing him, and then all of a sudden, they as he adapts to the league, they see his qualities, and then boom, they start to celebrate his name again. Like you should be allowed to celebrate now, man.
They're not qualified. What's your qualifications? We want to see it. What's your qualifications?